So, as promised, I want to talk about Caldera compared to Verdansk and why I think Caldera isn't really doing Warzone justice right now. So, for one, I want to say that this semi-rant, if you want to consider it a rant, is not directed at developers. It's not, hate toward developers at all. I'm just right here, me questioning some design choices. There could have been a reason for things, and obviously creating level design maps for a battle royale is not easy. So, with all that being said, we are going to be mainly focusing on explaining why I'm switching to Rebirth Island, a map I actually didn't really like before, but now I'm kind of forced to love it, and I'm actually having a better time playing Warzone now on Rebirth Island. So let's get into some stuff explaining the gist of it. So here on Reddit, some user, I forget who, I don't really know who, but they created this graph or this, display to showcase Verdansk and Caldera. And as you see here, the red spots are known as empty spaces or, open areas. These are pretty awful to have gunfights in. If you remember Verdansk, these were like the trees in the outskirts and there really wasn't much cover and stuff like that. And when the circle ended there, you're kind of like, oh shit. Now, I will say the first iteration of Verdansk really struggled with this, but the second iteration of Verdansk 84, did a much better job creating hilly and cover situations in most of these empty spaces. So I'll give them that. It did feel a little bit better in Verdansk 84 than compared to Verdansk 1, but again, these were all on the outskirts and a lot of the engagements were not happening here, which is good for a controlled battle royale experience. However, slide over to Caldera, you see a lot of this is in the middle of the map, and percentage wise, I forget that they did, see that this is kind of similar. They have the same amount of empty spaces, but Verdansk was designed in a way where everything was condensed in the middle. Caldera's designed where everything's condensed in coastal areas, which realistically, in a civilized point of view of like, oh, where does civilization lie? It does make sense. A lot of the areas are going to be in the coastal area, so that makes sense. But in a game design sense, I don't really think this really flows very well, and it's affecting my enjoyment of this map. It is season 2, it just started, they added a new place of interest, so again, they could fill up these empty spaces even more, but as it stands now, Caldera is an awful place to have fun engagements because empty spaces and open areas are not what players want. They create massively frustrating scenarios. You want to avoid these areas at all costs, and as you can tell, you're going to have to cross through it at one point or another, and that's not fun at all. There's very little you can do in these scenarios where if someone's just out there, watching the top, you're screwed. You're literally screwed. Now, another problem Caldera has compared to Verdansk is a foliage issue. Now, a lot of people wanted more bright lights, more colors, and I get it. Something dull isn't the best, but this is a war game. This isn't something bright, beautiful, and things like that. And while Caldera is a beautiful map, the amount of foliage on this map is infuriating. I lose track of so many people in having any type of engagements in these areas because guess what? There's bushes everywhere. I've been killed so many times just walking to a guy camping in a bush out of nowhere. That is not a fun time. That is an infuriating time. It's a frustrating time to play something where you can't see things. And Verdansk had its issues, no doubt. Rose skin in black shadow corners was very broken, whether it was windows or just dark corners of the rooms. And internally, it was brutal. It was hard to see. I give you that. But at the same time, that was one operator. This is a whole map, and no matter what you do, it's kind of hard. I mean, you could remove foliage, but that makes the open space issues even more difficult, more annoying. So I really don't know exactly what they would do. And another thing, let's talk about vertical gameplay amongst Verdansk and Caldera. I do think the elements of more vertical places like hills like they do in Caldera does provide better strategic opportunities to re-engage and reposition on the fly. Verdansk, if you got caught in a situation, relocating and, rotating could have been a challenge at times. And totally granted, that could have been a design choice. That could have been a frustrating point of the thing. But at the same time, this is coming at the cost of inconsistent vertical gameplay in terms of understanding where players will be and predicting scenarios. Again, predicting scenarios in Battle Royale is a healthy thing because it creates sometimes a repeatable controlled situation in a randomized map or a randomized situation. So in Caldera, you don't know where people are. People could be on any hill at any time. and it's kind of frustrating. You guys look at Verdansk, you knew that a lot of vertical gameplay was happening on top of buildings. Hospital had the big hospital at the helipad. A lot of people were up there. Downtown had a few buildings that you knew people were on, and you can kind of predict it, engage it, see if people were there. There were still hills that people have, TV station, there was a lot of people on top. You know, different elements of the map had very predictable vertical gameplay scenarios of someone holding. Caldera, there is no understanding of where someone is holding a vertical spot because there is so much vertical elements added to the map, which was a main complaint of Verdansk, and it seems to have gotten worse in Caldera. I don't mind it in Verdansk because it was controllable, it was repeatable, and it was predictable. In Caldera, it is not controllable, it is not repeatable, and it is not predictable. It is so random, and the experience of Caldera is very random as a whole. While Verdansk, while it is a battle royale and there is random elements to it when it comes to repositioning and locating in the circle, there was a sense of very controlled scenarios compared to Caldera, and hence why Rebirth Island I think is the best option for players. It offers some of that old school design choices of less foliage, more understanding of where people are, and consistently understanding where people will be shooting you from compared to Caldera. Now, the size is different, the player count is different, even the mode is different with Resurgence. So again, play style and play pace will definitely be faster on Rebirth Island, but you rather have a fast-paced experience or a boring time running around and then getting drilled in an open area that you're forced to cross. You guys picked, you know, what you want. I know a lot of people that didn't like Rebirth Island now is actually kind of switching towards Rebirth Island and playing it. There's the opportunity of you not being forced for Vanguard weapons. You know, sometimes there is a force of Vanguard Royale on you if you want to experience the big maps. I get it, but Rebirth Island's a superior experience right now for Warzone. It really maintains a lot of those Warzone elements that Verdansk had in general, which I think is good. Less foliage, more buildings, more understanding, more predictable engagements, and more of a fun time compared to Caldera. Very randomized, very frustrating experience nonetheless. But with that being said, guys, that is my rant, my breakdown of why I just don't like Caldera, and I'm going to be playing Rebirth Island for the foreseeable future. Again, you might see me play here and there Caldera. Maybe my buddies say, hey, let's stop playing Rebirth Island, let's go play Caldera. Like, okay, cool. But as it stands now, Rebirth Island, you're going to see me playing it on. It is a fun map right now compared to the other option, and I'm enjoying it. So with all that being said, let me know what you guys feel about Caldera. If you have any thoughts on the map itself, do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you just want it to burn? You want Verdansk back? Let me know in the comment section below if you have a comment like that. If you guys enjoyed this video and found it informative, definitely drop this video a like. And if you guys are new here and want more content from me, definitely hit the subscribe button and the bell to stay notified when I do drop a video. But with all that being said, ShadowNinja here, and I'm out.